Hello. So in our previous session, we discussed about an important service in AWS, which is VPC. We created a VPC, which is our custom VPC, and we further configured the subnets within within the VPC, and then we configured the route table where the main route should be directing to so if I click on the route, it should be directing to uh, the IP, the destination IP of us. So now I don't have the IGW configured. So if it has not been configured and if you have initiated the connection, then it might show an error or it might show with the status as black hole. So let's just quickly go and configure it. Go to Internet Gateway. Okay, so let me do it in the route table. So route table, go to routes, edit routes. So I don't have the Internet Gateway. So I have pointed to the Internet Gateway, but the Internet Gateway is not yet configured. So that's just going to show us with the status black hole. So what we have to do is go to the VPC, go to the Internet Gateway. So we don't have the Internet Gateway here. We have to create the Internet Gateway. So let me give it as IGW underscore 2. So tags is optional. If you want, you can go ahead with giving a name value pair. Create Internet Gateway. So go to the Internet Gateway. So the status of your Internet Gateway is detached, which means it has not been attached. So to attach it, go to the route table, go to routes, go to edit routes. So point it to 0.0.0.0. So the gateway that we are going to use is Internet Gateway, which is for enabling internet access to the EC2 instance. So let me remove this and add it from the beginning. Internet Gateway. Okay, so this is not loaded yet. So let's go to the route table. So let's go to the Internet Gateway. Let it be refreshed once. So the VPC ID is not given. Yes, we have to attach it to the VPC because the VPC ID is not yet reflecting here. So select the Internet Gateway, go to Actions, attach to VPC. Now we have to select the VPC to which this gateway has to be attached to. So in our previous session, we configured a custom VPC with VPC 2. So I'm going to go ahead with that. Select that, attach Internet Gateway. So now if we go to the route table, so let's check it here in the Internet Gateway. Okay, it is attached now. Now we have to go and change the routes in the route table. Go to routes, edit routes. So let's add it from the beginning. Add new route. Select Internet Gateway. Select the IGW which is given with the random ID of it, which is IGW2. Save changes. So now if we go to the route table, we would be able to find the routes here, which is active. So now go to EC2, right click and open it in a new tab. So I already have it opened here. So give the name of your instance, choose the type of your instance, the operating system. Let's go with Amazon Linux. So let the instance type be the same, which is already existing. I have created a new key pair. If you have an existing key pair, you can go ahead with it. So whatever the VPC that we had configured has to be attached to this particular EC2 instance now. So that has to be done under your network settings, because your VPC is basically an on-prem network service given by Amazon. So go edit it. So by default, it would be attached to the default VPC. I have other custom VPCs which I have configured. So custom VPC, custom VPC2, my VPC1. So these are the VPC that's been configured by me. I'm gonna go with the custom VPC2, which we did it yesterday, and the IP is 192.168.3.0/24. So I can choose the subnet in which this particular EC2 instance would want to get established or launched. So we have a subnet, we have created just one subnet, and hence it is showing us just one subnet, which has been created in US East 2A zone. So that's the availability zone of our subnet. And the IP addresses available are 59. We can create 59 number of IP addresses, which means we can create 59 number of instances in this particular subnet. And we can see the CIDR range is 192.168.3.0/26, which means 26 bits have been borrowed from the host ID. So, which is where the IP is basically divided into net ID and host ID. So, your subnet is going to borrow few bits from your existing IP of your VPC. With that, it is going to assign it to all the other subnets accordingly. So that's how we have to do. So if we are probably planning to configure a new subnet, say subnet 2, then we may have to go ahead with 192.168.3.1/26. So that's how it keeps going. So let's select the subnet we created. Okay, we have to enable the auto assign public IP, which means the public IP is going, the IP that we are assigning is going to be public, and it would be accessible by the internet, or which is going to enable the resources to be accessed in the internet for us. If we don't enable this, which means if I'm going ahead with disable option, I wouldn't be able to access any resources in the internet. This is going to be a private IP for me. So we don't want that. So hence the enable option is checked in. And the firewall security, under the security group, we can either go ahead with a new security group, or we can go ahead with selecting an existing one. But we should be sure that the HTTP protocol is enabled in the security group, because we are going to be hosting a web page from the EC2 instance, which is backed with the VPC and subnet that we configured. And to do that, we have configured the IGW to access the internet. So let me select the existing. Okay, or let's go ahead with a new security group, which is having the name as Launch Visa 36. And let's configure the security group later. So let me go to the advanced details now. So we have to come all the way to the user data, which means I'm going to give the user data that should get launched while my EC2 instance is about to get connected. So once I'm launching it, and then when I'm establishing the connection, this user data will automatically get executed in the backend, which means it would be a backend process. So this particular code is going to install HTTP. This is going to start the HTTP. It will enable the HTTP. It will create a file with the root, with the hierarchy as var www html, and to change the path of the files, I have given cd, and I'm going to download a website from GitHub. So that's the link of the website, and I'm giving the path of that link, the file where this particular website should get loaded for us to get connected or launched when the EC2 instance is being connected. So this website will get hosted. So let's go ahead with launch instance. So let's go view all the instances. So we can see the public IP which is assigned to us. So if I copy this public IP, the instance is not at in the checked phase, which is still in the initialization phase, so it will obviously not run. So if I give the IP, I wouldn't be able to access it. So let's wait for it. So before trying to access the web page through the public IP, we may have to check the security settings if it is enabled with the HTTP protocol. Okay, the status check is done. So let's go to security. Scroll down all the way to the security group launch wizard, which we just launched, which is 36. Click on it. Go to edit inbound rules. By default, the outbound rules are all enabled, which will be enabling all the traffic. So the inbound rules has to be enabled. So add the rule HTTP. If you want, we can go ahead with HTTPS even. So go ahead with any IPv4 option. This will automatically generate the CIDR block for the HTTP and HTTPS protocols. Save the rules. Now go to the instances and we can check the instance. So if I click on the instance ID, I can see the VPC that is attached to this instance, which is a custom VPC, and the subnet, which is our custom subnet again, which is having subnet 1 as its name. And here we would be able to see there are a few other details that should be here. So we have the private IP and we have the public IP, and few other details have been displayed to us. Okay, so we don't have the route table here, but if you want to view it, you have to go back to your VPC here. So let's quickly go to the instance and launch it, connect it, connect the instance. So as we had already given the user data, so this user data will get launched by itself automatically. So we don't have to do anything from our end. So all we have to do is just go to the instances, copy the public IP, open it in a private window. Let's see if we are able to access the page. Continue to the site. Yes, the page is accessible. So which means the internet is enabled with the IGW and we had hosted a page on that, and in fact we were able to view the page. So we have to enable HTTPS, HTTP, and we should ensure that uh, a VPC, subnets, and the routes are appropriately directing to the IGW. So this is about VPC, subnet, IGW, and hosting a website on the launched instance, EC2 instance. Thank you.